Initially, my interest in still life came out of a real appreciation or interest in 17th century Dutch still life painting. And I was intrigued by the paintings. I mean, I just sort of loved them, and every time I went to the museum, I found myself in front of them. The way that people surrounded themselves by objects and things that they cared about, and some of it was choice and some of it was just happenstance. And I was intrigued by the fact that it was a B genre in the sense that it was thought of as being women's work because it was sort of more lowly. It was about kind of everyday common things. I think I've always been attracted to things that there's a kind of knee-jerk reaction against, because I want to try and figure out why there's that rejection of whatever that category is. I started using everything from Martha Stewart, nest and wallpaper, as well as my old photographs. And then incorporated into the three-dimensional still lifes are also some objects, and they're objects that are residual from daily life, from the detritus of what's around me. This was a bird skeleton that I found outside of my apartment. Actually, I found the bird was more whole initially, and then it was eaten by worms and whatever else it was eaten by. And then the similarity between this and this, the apple core, or I don't know, a picture of a bird over here. Again, I think it's too heavy-handed. I don't know how to incorporate it yet or how to make a picture of it, but just having these things around as ways of provoking what I'm thinking about in terms of how things look and what they look like when they're photographed. I typically start by thinking about the kind of space that I want to have happen in the photograph, and from there I start pulling things from the magazines and objects and placing them within the space the way that I've constructed it, which is an illusionistic space coupled with the natural light that's in the studio and pieces of different colored paper, different tone paper that suggest either shadow or highlights that often fight against what you read perspectively or illusionistically through the photographic space. Over here, I've got a still life that I'm working on that has been in progress since last summer, and right now there's a lot more in it than will actually be the result of the still life, but I've put a bunch of things in there just to see what they look like when they're photographed, from this angle, and trying to set up the space, and also seeing what the light is like, trying to get the light to do what I want it to do. So it's been in progress, and checking out these different tonal variations of paper and realizing I need to get more. First of all, it's an additive process of putting things into the picture. So I'll be looking and seeing things and trying this out and trying that out. And then this is something that I've been doing for a really long time, is pulling things out until the picture feels like it's on the threshold of breaking. So it's trying to build these photographs that are always threatening to fall apart. There is a kind of precipice about having something feel stable, and then with one very subtle shift, having that stability threaten to fall apart. And I'm really interested in that very tentative, precarious edge of things barely holding together,